Good morning. Thank you for joining us. My name is Debbie Rasica from the Central Jersey Family Health Consortium. I am the Perinatal Risk Reduction Coordinator for our agency. This is a grant that offers me the opportunity to give education and prevention assistance to our community at large as well as to professionals. Today, we're going to talk about how effective communication can really help ease daily stress. Followed by that, we're going to go into some simple meditation to be able to process a little bit all that you learned in the webinar about effective communication. So thank you for joining us today, and now we'll get started. So as we think about what makes up effective communication, there are certainly some main components that we do want to pay attention to. The first is our listening skills. How important it is for us to listen actively, which means we're really focused on what a person is saying, paying attention to their body language if possible, as well as putting our own thoughts or responses or questions aside. In addition, effective communication is about being heard. The reason we speak with others is because we want to convey our thoughts, our opinions, our wishes, our needs. And in order for communication to work, things have to be running pretty smoothly on the listening end as well as on being the heard end. Now, it's much easier to hear stuff when we're not being offended. So we need to think about how can we present ourselves, and no matter what we need to say to somebody, so as not to offend them. And in that way, the other person is more likely to be able to hear us and understand what we have to say, and is then more apt to help us rectify whatever situation may be needing attention. It's important that we make our wishes and needs known so that we can meet them, help to meet our own as well as those of other people. In this difficult time when we're all struggling with so much stress, routine, the ongoings of every day, we are more in control of our life when we can make our own stuff known and we can help other people with their stuff. That helps to bring some harmony and peace and satisfaction into our lives where otherwise there might be more stress and chaos. There are some main principles when we are talking about the most effective communication. And these are the three principles. You matter. Your stuff matters. Whatever you're going through, whatever going on with you, it's important and it matters. In addition, other people's stuff matters too. Other people are going through lots of stuff just like we are. And it's important to realize that we're not the only one that has things going on in our lives. We all need to reach out and support each other and have that mutual back and forth of respect going on. We need to convey our respect for other people's views, opinions, thoughts, wishes, and in turn, we hope other people will respect ours. We need to lead as a role model and show respect for ourselves so that others can show respect for us as well. This I recently learned, and I really like this because when things are troubling us, we need to figure out, do I really need to bring this up? Do I need to talk about this? Because sometimes the hard part of communication is conveying the stuff that's hard to bring up because we don't want to be offensive. But on the flip, sometimes when we're going through regular stress in our everyday lives, it's hard for us to have a filter sometimes. And in wanting for ourselves, not for the stress to build up and being attentive to our own needs, sometimes we may speak more truths than we really need to. So before we do speak and convey thoughts that might not be so nice for other people to hear, I like this three-door rule. And that is, first, stop to consider before you speak. Is what you're about to say true? Is it a true statement? Is it based in fact? Second question, is it really necessary? Is it really necessary to state, or are we stating the obvious that doesn't necessarily need to be stated? And thirdly, I really like this part. Is it kind? Is what we're saying kind? And if it's necessary to say, we need to find that kind way to say it. If it's not necessarily something we need to say, and if it's not the kindest thing, maybe it's a good time to try to put that filter back in and hang on to those words. Words can be hurtful. We know that. So now we're going to get into communication types. There are 4 communication types that we're going to talk about today. The first I want to address is passive communication. Passive communication can be described as a person who really has difficulty speaking up and voicing what's on their mind, no matter what might be going on with them. This type of person conveys a message that they don't have a lot of respect for themselves, and therefore it's okay for others not to be respectful. And often passive behavior leads to feelings that are really uncomfortable. Feelings of low self-esteem, low self-image, poor self-identity, feelings of being taken advantage of, maybe hopeless, helpless, not worth it. People often describe that they feel like doormats with their with a prevalence of exhibiting passive behavior. Tends to happen when people say yes all the time, no matter what people ask them to do. Um, Folks are easy targets to be taken advantage of because their main purpose is to please other people. And in that process, often lose themselves. This doesn't create a comfortable place to be. Typically, folks who are passive do feel an inordinate amount of stress, their own everyday stress, and all the stress heaped on by maybe demands of other people, and having no one to turn to themselves. This is a person that often feels very alone and very misguided and misunderstood. On the opposite end of the spectrum is aggressive communication. And this really is your schoolroom bully. This is the person who does not hesitate to speak what's on their mind, however they choose to speak it, in offensive ways that can really be hurtful and judgmental and very attacking. Often, aggressive people will not care about embarrassing other people. Their main mission with this type of behavior is getting what they want, and nothing else is important. So this is not a two-way street of respect. It may seem that a person who behaves aggressively most of the time has a high self-esteem and a high self-awareness and self-worth, but this really is not true. Very often, this person is not comfortable in their own skin, often hurting inside themselves. And often, this aggression is because they have lacked the skill set to learn to communicate in more effective measures. People who bully do get what they want, but we know that that cost can be very high. Often, people mistake speaking up for themselves as being aggressive. That is not the case. It's absolutely healthy to speak up for yourself. It's the manner in which we do it that's important. Next is a pretty, um, it definitely contradicts itself, the next term, being passive aggressive. Passive aggressive communication and behavior can take on different airs about them. The way we might think that is most obvious and most common is the person who is typically passive and takes it and takes it and takes it and takes it until their frustration and stress and negative feeling energy rises to such a point that it crosses over being in control of what we say and what we do. So often, this is the person who really seems very easygoing, very mild mannered, willing to do anything for everybody. And they take it, and before you know it, there may be an explosion. These explosions can have negative consequences, whether it's physically harming somebody, or punching a hole in a wall, or screaming at your boss and getting fired, or screaming at the person in a social service agency that you're trying to get help from. Wherever that may be, typically when folks do respond in a passive aggressive manner, people tend to not take that person necessarily seriously and consider that, whoa, I guess we just have to dance around this person for a while. And without effective communication going on, soon behavior returns to being passive, and with that permissive message of it's okay to take advantage. Other examples of passive aggressive behavior is the type of behavior we often can see in a work environment when people complain about their coworkers or they complain about their boss, and they spread lots of negative energy around, but they never directly address the issue that's causing them to be experiencing negative and uncomfortable feelings. Instead, it's spread around, and in this way, people feel like it helps them, but that negative kind of gossiping and speaking badly about other people who aren't there to defend themselves really can tear away at all interpersonal relationships, as well as create a real toxic environment without any change in effect to make things better. Sometimes people are passive aggressive in other means, such as you're angry with your coworkers, so you neglect to give them an important message from your boss or from somebody else. Or you're angry with somebody and you go slash their tires or scratch their car. This too is considered passive aggressive behavior. And again, it can end in pretty dire consequences, and even with breaking the law. So the first three um, types of behavior and communication I've described, passive aggressive, all have their downfalls, and we really haven't spoken about any benefits of those types of communication. The fourth one, assertive behavior and communication, is the one that has the most positive outcomes that a person can possibly experience. And being assertive is that mutual respect we talked about earlier. It's about determining if what you need to say is necessary. And is there a kind way to say it so that we do not offend other people? In this manner, we have a much better chance of having our own needs and wishes met, and also helping those around us to have their needs and wishes met as well. This person often can have a wonderful self-esteem, self-image, because it's about at least I can speak up. I might not be able to dictate the outcome, but I can speak up in a respectful, responsible way. I can speak to other people the way I'd like to be spoken to. And I can say things that maybe would be hard for me to say if I can find an easy and kind way to say them. Because many of us, with our value system and our belief system, feel that if we speak something that is not the most positive is being aggressive. And that is not true. It's important for us to speak up for ourselves, whether we're in a restaurant or we're out and someone is violating our rights, if it's safe to do so. Um, no matter the situation, if you're before a judge, your boss, a job interview, an interview for a scholarship, whatever the case may be, there is a way to speak up for yourself in a way that's respectful. And we are going to practice a very short three-part statement to be able to add to your toolbox so that you have a better chance of having your point heard. So here's the three-part statement. The first part is when you. The point of the first part of this three-part statement is that you want to focus on describing the facts, the behavior that you see before you or know to be true that's in front of you. This is a time to remove all subjective language from your vocabulary. We do not want to use any name calling. We want to describe the situation. So let's take an example of my son left his room a mess again. There's dirty clothes on the floor. The clean clothes are on the floor. Bed's unmade. You get the picture. So I could start and say, well, I could be passive and just say nothing, 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 and let that build, and then maybe become passive aggressive and have a breaking point where I start screaming at my child. Or I could just use an aggressive tone of, you filthy, disgusting pig. I'm so sick and tired of this. I don't know why I ever gave birth to you. I could start on that vein. Or I could describe the behavior. When you leave your clothes on the floor and your bed unmade and your trash can full, that's very different than calling him a slob and a pig. Now think about if you were on the receiving end, which would be easier for you to hear. So when you leave your clothes on the floor and your bed unmade and your trash can full, I feel aggravated because I do take the time to wash your clothes, and I feel upset because I am trying to get you to learn to take care of your own belongings. I would prefer you pull up your covers and try to make your bed in the morning. And if at least do that, and if not possible, at least close your door so that I don't need to go in your room anymore. So if you want your laundry done, you'd need to bring your clothes down to the washing machine. That would be much better than if I just start, with you filthy, disgusting, ungrateful pig. You are the death of me. You make me work so hard, and if you don't start doing what I need you to do, I'm throwing you out of the house. I'm taking TV or PlayStation away for 3 months. As you can see, that's not going to be real effective. But when you leave your stuff on the floor and you don't put your clothes in the hamper, I feel angry and upset about that. And I prefer you get your stuff in the hamper so that I can get your laundry done. If not, we're going to close your door and you're going to need to learn how to do your own laundry. That way there's no broach for argument. We're not giving any fuel. We're not attacking a person's character. We're describing the facts. And it's that simple. And this really can be used anywhere. Say you're out to dinner and you really don't like to be that person who complains about their food or sets it back. But say, you're out for a nice dinner and your meal comes and it's truly ice cold to the point where like stuff is congealing on it. And you never felt empowered to be able to speak up because you didn't want to come across as being an unkind person. But in this way, you can use this simple three-part statement. When you bring my dinner ice cold, I feel really upset. I was looking forward to this meal. I'd really prefer if you could bring this back to the kitchen and bring me out a fresh hot meal. In that way, you're not attacking the messenger, the waitress, or the waiter. You're merely stating about something that matters to you. It's a treat. Maybe I shouldn't use going out to dinner. I just realized that in our time of COVID. But I think you get the idea. But, we work hard when we go out to treat ourselves. And if what we're paying for is not up to any kind of standard, who else can look out for ourselves except for ourselves? And that's really important. We can still be kind and caring and considerate, but still look out for our own interests. Say your boss comes at you and says some disparaging things in front of coworkers. Now, maybe you're the type of person that you just won't say anything after that, and that negative energy inside of you will just build and build and build and build until you become so unhappy and maybe feeling sick yourself, where you get to that point of explosion. When instead, here might be another option. When you feel calm, you can seek your boss out privately. It wasn't good for your boss to speak to you disparagingly or about a private thing in front of other people. And we should give that same respect. But how about pulling your boss aside when you have a good moment? We know when those good moments are, not when they're busy doing a million things. Say, hey, can I talk to you for a second? Well, I just needed to let you know that when you spoke to me in the way you did in front of other people, I felt really embarrassed and mortified. And I really prefer that if you need to talk to me about something, if we could please do it in private, and if you could speak to me in a respectful tone and not yell, I would really prefer that. Speaking in this manner does not give your boss any leverage to lash back at you. You're simply giving information. And sometimes by using this three-part statement, we're really giving that other person the benefit of the doubt. Because more often than not, people don't intend to be bullies and intend to be mean. They might be preoccupied. They might have a lot of things going on themselves, and they might not be aware how they're coming across, or that the way they just spoke up to you was not okay, and that it certainly wasn't okay doing that in front of other people. Sometimes if we can just bring awareness to people, they choose to modify their behavior, because most of us do like to convey an air of positive energy and connectedness and teamwork. And this really can be helpful in doing so. This can be used with your significant other. You know, when you shovel dinner in your mouth and you just leave the table and start talking on your phone, I really feel taken advantage of and unappreciated after I took time to make a nice meal for us to share. I would really prefer if we could try to share this time together and put our phones aside until both of us are done eating. I'd really appreciate that. We're not attacking, we're not nagging, we're not being mean. This is a way to communicate where we can convey what's important to us without it being a big deal, without it being a 20-minute intense conversation. It can be something really simple. I'll go back to my children and laundry because it's one of my least favorite things to do. But I got real tired of needing to collect their clothes, turn them in right side out, empty their pockets when I'm, working a few jobs and doing a lot of other things. And then the clothes end up on their floor anyway. So I let them know, when you leave your clothes in that condition, I feel frustrated and aggravated, and I feel like I don't want to do your laundry anymore. So I'd prefer you take the time to get your stuff where it needs to be, turn right side out, pockets empty, and then I'll be happy to continue doing laundry. But if that is too difficult, then I'm not going to do laundry anymore for you. You'll need to do your own laundry from here forward. And I must say, I did that with my children. They didn't take me seriously the first time or the second time, but by the third time, by me stating calmly what the situation was, how I felt, what the consequences were, and what I'd rather they do, they picked up on the message, because you know what? They ended up not having the shirt they wanted for school. They ended up not having clean underwear, and my sons cared about that for some reason. Their uniform might not be clean, and the consequence was theirs. From that point forward, I never had a nag again about them taking care of their clothes for me to do their laundry properly. And to reinforce, we can use this in a positive way as well. Let's use that same example. When you thoughtfully bring your stuff downstairs and turn it right side out and empty your pockets, I feel so appreciative. I'm so glad that you keep thinking of it. And I really hope you keep doing that. Because if you do, it's really okay for me to keep doing your laundry as your mom right now. And it's my pleasure to do that. And things can move on slowly. So, this is a nice way to have that conversation with the least resistance so people can hear you and hopefully your needs can get met. And they might not because we can't control and change everything. We know that. But we can really increase the odds. We need to realize that people are not mind readers. They don't have crystal balls. They cannot read our minds. I know sometimes we think, well, if they were really my friend or they really knew me or they really loved me, they would know how I feel. Well, that's just not reality. More often than not, even those of us that have connection and we can kind of sense what's going on with those who are close to us and around us, doesn't mean any of us have a crystal ball. And it's real respectful to let someone you know what's going on so you can give them the opportunity to fix it and change that up. I remember having a conversation with a coworker who spoke to me in a very disparaging way in front of coworkers. And I did pull that person aside and I used this three-part statement. And this person felt so badly that they had done that. And I was so upset about the situation that it was one of those things that you just can't let it rest because you'll never be okay with it. Like you need to say something. And when I said to this coworker, when you spoke to me in that way in front of other people, I felt so embarrassed and so disrespected and even so surprised to be spoken to like that. Um, I just would really prefer that if you need to speak to me about anything, please pull me aside. Let's speak privately and try to, talk to me in a way that we like to be spoken to. And she didn't even realize it. She was so apologetic. And from that point forward, we actually grew a little closer and our relationship became a little better. And I know that sounds kind of fairy tale. That was one situation that did work out well. But it is a good example of you never know. And instead of letting it eat you up inside, find a way to speak about it. And even if nothing changes, you know that at least you spoke up for yourself and you did what you could to alter the situation. And that can really help us to know the difference between what we can change and what we cannot change. And to be able to have that wisdom to know the difference. And what helps us to have that wisdom is to have the tools we need to handle situations differently. We are champions of so many things. We are champions of our children. We are champions of the work we do, of our friendships, of our relationships with all the members of our families, all the charitable works we do. We are champions of so many things. And it's so important for us to be champions of ourselves and for ourselves, and to be able to speak up for our children when we need to, and to help empower them. So importantly, to speak up for themselves. And this is something that kids can learn to describe behaviors instead of name calling, to use an I feel statement instead of you make me feel. So powerful. I feel upset. I feel ashamed. I feel guilty or badly about what happened. Instead of you make me crazy, you make me insane. You make me drink, you make me smoke. No, we need to own what's ours, and we also need to be able to communicate that. This three-part statement seems very quirky, awkward, must seem crazy, but it really can help give us a guide, a strategy to be able to speak up at that times when it's hard to do so. But remember, it can also be used to try to help others continue behaving around you as they are, because they are things that are meaningful to you, things that help to meet some of your wishes and needs and wants. And it does take a lot of courage to stand up to a bully. This is a quote according to Liliana Cohen. But it takes a far greater courage to stand up to our own resistance to the bully within. We need to stop bullying ourselves that we're not good enough, we're not worth it, we're not this, we're not that. We are everything that we can be and want to be. And we are lionesses. And I am speaking to the women attending this webinar right now. But in order to be that, we first need to take care of ourselves. We need to shut off that inner voice that bullies ourselves. And we need to try to tone down that voice that can be a bully to other people. I hope this has been meaningful. And in order to incorporate some of this work that we talked about today, about speaking up to respect ourselves and to respect other people and to help our wishes and needs and wants be met so that we can feel in control and empowered and we can feel good about our interaction with ourselves and with the world around us. So I'd like just to take everyone through some very basic relaxation now as you contemplate being able to have that empowerment to take care of what's important, what's special to you. Maintain those values of respect for yourself and for other people. And as you first start thinking about this, I would like everyone to put their feet flat on the floor. Sit up as straight as you can, wherever you may be sitting, and put your hands on your stomach. If comfortable, close your eyes and just focus on my voice and what I would like you to do. I would like you to slowly take a breath in through your nose as you think about breathing in calmness, peacefulness, relaxation, and well-being. And exhale very slowly through your mouth. You're breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth. Nice, slow breaths. And with your hands on your stomach, feel your stomach raise and lower as you breathe in through your nose. Your stomach raises, and as you exhale slowly through your mouth, you feel the breath go out of you. This is good diaphragmatic breathing that gives a great supply of oxygen to all those living cells throughout your whole body, making them rich with oxygen and able to function so beautifully. As you continue to slowly breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And as you continue to breathe, I would like for you to imagine yourself in a peaceful, calm, nurturing place where you feel totally content, totally at peace, totally calm, without care or worry. Maybe that place for you is your favorite chair by a fire that's toasty and crackling, with the smell of fresh coffee brewing, a favorite book in your hand, some wonderful essence in the air of scents that you like to breathe in to help feel calm. Maybe that's your special place. Or maybe you're out by the beautiful ocean with the beautiful blue water reflecting the deep blue of the sky with soft white clouds, white cool sand beneath your fingers as you comfortably relax and listen to the water lapping against the shore, some seagulls flying overhead, the leaves rustling in the breeze, smell of suntan oil. Think of those things in all its detail, whatever that special place is for you. Really see it, touch it. Feel that warmth of the sun gently beating down on you. And then as your skin cools with that gentle breeze, feel that coolness of the water and the heat of the sand. Picture that scene in your own mind's eye, that place where you can take yourself for your own personal vacation at any time, any place, and continue to breathe in through your nose and slowly exhale through your mouth. And as we continue on and you think about your special place, I'd like you to start becoming more aware of your muscles and how they feel. And we're going to start with your feet and your toes and your ankles and move up to your thighs and your calves, your knees and your thighs. Make your feet and legs tight as a drum, as tight as you can. And just hold that tightness for a second. And now just let out that breath and relax all those muscles. The muscles in your toes, in your feet, in your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs. Let your legs go completely limp as you continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. You're breathing in relaxation and breathing out tension. And now let's move up to your hands. I'd like you to stretch out your arms and make a fist really, really tight with both sides. And tighten up those muscles in your hands. And now tighten the muscles in your forearms, your upper arms, and your shoulders. And make those muscles really, really tight. And now I want you to breathe again and just let all that tension ease right out of those muscle groups. Let your fingers, your hands, your forearms, your upper arms, and your shoulders go completely limp. You're very relaxed, very much lying limply at your sides. And continue to breathe in through your nose and out through your mouth. And visualize breathing in that relaxation and breathing out tension. Now we're going to focus on our stomach and our torso and our backs. Let's make those muscles really, really tight as we can. The muscles tightening in our stomach, in our chest, and in our back. Make those muscles really, really tight. Feel that tightness traveling up your neck and feel that tightness. And now just let that go. Ease out all that tension and stress as you breathe. And all those muscles are relaxing in your stomach, in your chest, and in your back. And now your body is feeling very much relaxed, very much at ease as you continue to breathe in relaxation through your nose. Slowly exhale through your mouth and continue to breathe. And now we're going to focus on the muscles in our face. I'd like you to tighten up all those muscles around your mouth, in your cheeks, around your eyes, in your forehead. Make all those muscles really, really tight. And now feel that tension. And now just let that go. Feel all that tension ease out of the muscles around your mouth, through your jawline, in your cheeks, around your eyes, in your forehead, as all your muscles feel very relaxed right now. You can feel them starting from your toes, working up your feet, through your ankles, your calves, your knees, your thighs, your hips, your torso, your fingers, your hands, your forearms and upper arms and shoulders, and up through your neck and up through those muscles in your face. You can feel them in a relaxed state as you continue to give them a rich supply of oxygen and relaxation, breathing in through your nose and slowly exhale through your mouth. And continue to do those breaths, if you can, slowing down to a count of 3 or 4, breathing in 2, 3, 4, and out 2, 3, 4. And imagine that calm scene where you can take yourself in your own mind's eye to that place where you feel perfectly content and nourished and nurtured, and all is well, because for right now, within this moment, as you're breathing in relaxation and breathing out all your stress and tensions, you feel calm and relaxed as you feel that warmth of the sun and the gentle breeze as it rustles through the trees, and the soft feel of the sand and the coolness of the water as it laps against the shore. Focus on all those details and take yourself to that place in your mind's eye and enjoy all that it's giving to you. And as I count down from 10 to 1, slowly come back to the present, and the feelings of peace and relaxation and calm will still stay with you. 10, 9, 8, you feel very peaceful, very calm. 7, 6, 5, feel very relaxed, very much at peace. 4, 3, 2, and 1. And if you have had your eyes closed, slowly open them and allow that sense of peace and calm to stay with you. I hope this has been meaningful and helpful to you. All must be used if it's going to be effective. You must practice your breathing and taking your mini vacation in your mind's eye. You can do these simple muscle tension and relaxation exercises for yourself when you're in a relaxed state. And think about how empowered you can be and in control as much as you can of your world by being able to speak assertively and practice using this 3-part statement. And the more you practice, the more all of this will come naturally, and we can help manage our stress more effectively on a day-to-day basis. I thank you all for participating today. Please take care. Have a blessed day and stay well and healthy. Thank you.